And so I moved into a tiny little house in downtown Toronto and realized that shoveling really sucks for two reasons. One, it's if you don't shovel your driveway within 12 hours of snowfall in the city, you will get ticketed by the city, or you will get branded the neighborhood jerk, and you don't want any of those things to happen. And because I hate being cold and I hate shoveling snow, I started to think about one of the best skills that I have, which is outsourcing. And I started researching about what it would take to get someone else to do this for me. And even though I had kids in the neighborhood who were willing to do it, I just wanted a professional to know it was going to be done on time. And so I started asking around, and I found out that it should cost approximately $400 to have someone come and shovel for the 4 months of our winter. And so I put up a post with the specs in a local neighborhood Facebook group, and that's when things got interesting. So this is how the conversation went down. Someone dropped into my DMs and said this: I would take care of your property for $800 for the season. I was pissed. I was so angry. I was like, you think you're going to treat me like a statistic and get all aggressive on me because I'm a woman and try and charge me double the going rates? I don't think so. Don't insult me. But instead of lashing out with all those playground insults, I did manage to find my mental pause button. And now, let me tell you for a second, let me digress for a second. He did what we call opening extreme in negotiation, and it's a very useful tactic. You open higher than where you expect to finish so that you can build up the other party's satisfaction. The problem with it was he opened so ridiculously extreme that he went beyond a point that we call in the behavioral science world the piss-off point. And he lost all credibility. So I'm spiraling and going, I don't want to deal with this person. And as much as I wanted to call him some really silly names, I pressed what I call my mental pause button, and I said, wow, thanks. That's a lot more expensive than other quotes. Thanks for reaching out, but that's too much for me. Thinking that I had made it very clear that he's being unrealistic. But he came back. How much are you looking at spending? This got really fun. So at some point, I kind of feel like maybe I should pay him royalties or something for this because I tell this story so often. So I came back and I re-anchored him into reality saying, I've got students in the neighborhood willing to do it for $200. I was willing to pay for someone more reliable, but you're just way too far outside of my price range. So how much do you want to spend? I live at Woodbine in Gerrard. The lowest I can do for you is $500. Now, this is all in one text box. I didn't change anything. This is not photoshopped. So let's reflect on this for a moment. First, he asked me a question, and in the same box, he answered that question. So in essence, he's negotiating against himself. Then he gave me a valuable piece of information that if I needed to, I could use to my advantage to say something like, great, that you can work me into the very beginning or the very end of your route. Then he finished with what we call a killer statement. The lowest I can do for you is $500. Dun, dun, dun. Cue the dramatic music. He drew a line in the sand. He basically said, I am not crossing this line for you. So if the lowest he can do is $500 and the highest I would do is $400, then it looks like we can't get to a deal, if he's being honest with me, which of course I doubt. So I took him at his word and I said, thanks, but that's still way too much. I'll have to settle for one of the kids. And I put my phone away because this conversation happened at the beginning of the day before I started running a workshop for a client. And when I'm with clients, I don't look at my phone at all. So I thought that the negotiation was over. Turns out it wasn't. He was still going. Any guesses on what his next message might be? $400. And at 5:18 p.m., I had still not seen that message. So there was another message waiting for me when I finally checked my phone. Guesses on that one? $300 it was. Ladies and gentlemen, if that is not the power of saying less, I don't know what is. So all I did was sit there and go on about my day while he was still busy typing away and getting anxious at not getting the responses that he was anticipating. And that's how simple this is. This is the secret sauce to negotiation. This is your secret sauce to success no matter what type of negotiation you're dealing with. It's just finding what I call your mental pause button. It's taking a moment to say less, to give yourself the mental clarity you need in order to figure out what is the next thing you are going to do or say.